My name is Ryan Loberger, and my topic is going to be a combination of topics, actually. I'm going to talk about a broad topic, which will be the effect of neuroscience on education, and then I'm also going to work to debunk the myth that of brain games having an impact on IQ, such as Luminosity, where they were sued for $2 million. So those will be my topics moving forward. The first main topic that I want to talk about is the fact that there is still a lot of work to be done in the field of neuroscience and how it affects education. There was a study done where 13 educators were interviewed about neuroscience, and the main study of this was the question, can neuroscience be used to improve or affect education in some way? One of the reasons for this is this quote: many call for an increased collaboration between neuroscientists and practicing educators before the field of neuroeducation can realize its potential for influencing educational practice. So there needs to be some collaboration done and some work done in order to better understand how neuroscience affects students. One of the people who are in the Society for Neurosciences Education said that there is a gulf between current science and direct classroom application. Another person said that there is a scarcity of rigorous research from the neuroscience community that is readily translatable into educational practice. Because of this, I think that it's important that we don't jump on the bandwagon, so to speak, right away, that we do our homework before we start implementing this into our classrooms. The second main topic that I want to talk about is the question, is neuroscience really beneficial to students? And then also talking about the placebo effect that many people think is having an effect. So first of all, just to use a quote from Neuroscience for Educators again, when you talk to kids about neuroplasticity and the idea that their brains change, it changes the way that they think about themselves. So without having any effect on them already, just the knowledge that students have that the way that they think affects their performance in school already has an effect on their performance and the way that they do things. Now shifting gears, but in lines with what we were just talking about, Luminosity has been or is being sued for $2 million because a lot of people think that what they are doing with their brain games is a scam. This is from an article called Brain Training: Exposing the Myth Behind Cognitive Enhancement Games. This is an app, or this is a quote saying, though the apps have had huge amounts of success, there is a new body of research emerging that to suggest that the successes may not be as a result of the games themselves, but because of the placebo effect. So again, talking about the fact that people are basically being tricked into think that they're getting smarter, and so then they perform better. And basically, there was a study done where they had a test group who was given a pill that was nothing, and then they took a test against a control group who took nothing. And because they took this pill where they were basically told you're becoming smarter, they scored better on the test than the control group did. Another article written by Tanya Basu, covering the $2 million lawsuit, has a quote saying, Luminosity preyed on consumers' fears about age-related cognitive decline, suggesting their games could stave off memory loss, dementia, and even Alzheimer's disease. But Luminosity simply did not have the science to back up its ads. Another quote, this is from a psychology professor named Randall Engel, said that we're really talking about a biological system. The idea that you can do some little computer game for half an hour a day for 10 days and change that system is ludicrous on the face of it. And so basically it's saying that you cannot change your brain and become smarter by playing games through Luminosity. And so what does that mean for us as educators? I think that it means that it's good to be aware of this, but Luminosity may not be the answer, and changing children's IQs or improving children's IQs is probably not the answer either. So what then is the impact that educators have with the current research that's done? One educator who was interviewed during the Neuroscience for Educators article said, "Yeah, it has definitely changed the way I teach. It's in the interactions you have with kids, the way you pace it, and the kinds of questions you ask." Another person said, uh, "It has really changed some of the teachers I've worked with. It's really changed some of their practice that they are carefully designing and thinking about planning their time with students based around what research shows works well, as opposed to maybe how they were taught or what they learned in their teacher prep programs." Basically, what it's saying is, or some of the other things that they talk about, is having more breaks for students. One of the another huge impact that it's having on educators is just giving them credibility when they are meeting with parents or administrators, knowing that they know how the brain works, and just giving them the confidence and the credibility of knowing that really has an impact on how they are teaching. Uh, one way that I found very interesting was from Carey's book, Benedict Carey's book, about when he talks about Saxon and how mixed up practice in Saxon really has an effect on how students learn. I agree completely with that. I teach Saxon, and Saxon is consistently the highest, or math is consistently the highest standardized test scores that we as a school have. And so I completely agree with that research. I guess the last thing, or the way that I would like to wrap this video up, is just saying that we are educators, and we are in the business of training brains, if you want to call it that. One person put it this way from the article. They said, 4 respondents expressed the sentiment that teachers should learn about neuroscience simply because they are in the business of shaping brains. I couldn't agree more. While all of the research may not be applicable to us as teachers, I think it's important that we know and understand how brains work, because we are, as educators, shaping those brains, and we are teaching students how to think and how to process information. And so the more we know, the better we can be as teachers.